I'm not the one you want to go toe to toe with. Okay, buddy. Fucking Doug. Right, yeah, I don't want to go toe to toe with you. Let's mute some people, shall we? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first installment of this new series here on the Apron Bump YouTube channel, where we will search various keywords in the search bar on everybody's favorite app to kind of thin the herd, to kind of eliminate the nonsense on social media, which is probably an impossible endeavor, but we're gonna try. And we're gonna have a good time on the way. We'll search out a certain keyword that's prompting a lot of, let's say, vitriol, a lot of discussion, a lot of debates, a lot of incels. And we're gonna take a look. Maybe we'll agree with a lot of stuff. Maybe we'll disagree with a lot of stuff. I have a feeling we're gonna see a lot of people get roasted here, which is very appropriate because a lot of these people are soft little marshmallows. Today's keyword is a name of a person who has prompted a lot of discussion online with his recent debut on NXT. That's right. Oh, Ricky Starks. Let's type in Ricky Starks in the search bar and let's see what we gather. All right. There's no way this could go badly. Scrolling down here, more Ricky. Shout out. By the way, first of all, before we can get into it, shout out Ricky Starks, man. Good to see him in NXT. Good to see him just on TV in general. That dude is way too talented to not be utilized by somebody. So props to him. I'm looking forward to see what comes of it. Okay, nothing too bad here. Just some lighthearted memes. All right, we're entering the AEW versus WWE side a little bit. We're just dipping our toes. 100% across the board. If you see a thing happen on wrestling and your first thought is, well, what would happen if it was the other company? If that's your first thought, I mean, you belong on the mute list. So just fuck off. But nothing too bad yet. Nothing too egregious. Well, here's actually a good one here. Shout out at Stephanie Hypes on X. Here's the thing. Some of us included wouldn't know who Ricky Starks is if it wasn't for AEW. Very true. But you can also admit that he was poorly utilized and in the last year or so not utilized at all. Both things could be true. See, level-headed approach. You could talk about the pros and cons of several different companies at once. You don't have to pick a side. You don't have to plant your flag on one side and just shit on the other side indiscriminately. It's okay to just take a logical approach sometimes. It's okay. These companies don't know you exist. You don't have to just rah-rah for the company that you arbitrarily choose. IWC. Tony Khan needs to stop holding wrestlers hostage. Use Ricky Starks or release him. Tony Khan dropped the ball with Ricky. Meanwhile, when everybody gets released from WWE, not a single person said Triple H dropped the ball. Again, this whataboutism? Like, what are we doing? How are these situations even remotely apples and apples? Are you saying that a healthy Ricky Starks that has proven to have the ability to garner emotion and reaction from the crowd, who has had great matches, who's a unique character, who's great on the mic, you're saying keeping him off TV for literally no reason is the same as the Good Brothers not being on TV because they're dog shit? What are we doing here? What are we doing here, Showtime? I don't know if you're mute worthy yet, but you're cutting it close there, bud. WWE stands are way more annoying than AEW stands when somebody jumps. This garbage blanket statement. Honestly, I'm seeing more positive than negative so far on the top section, which is very surprising. Might have to gravitate towards the latest. Oh boy, we're at this fucking guy. All Elite Doug, 21. So I happened to respond to him last night. You know what? Let's just revisit this whole interaction because I think it kind of encapsulates the all of the negativity that I've seen related to Ricky Starks signing with NXT. His sentiment is shared by a lot of different people. All Elite Doug 21 says, I think it is insulting to Ricky Starks to make him go to NXT first. Why did Penta go to the main roster but Ricky didn't? All right, let's pump the brakes here. So this is the mentality that is so frustrating to see on social media. It's like people think, okay, WWE, they gain a person, right? They gain a wrestler, and then it's like they think they have this wrestler stand in front of them, and Triple H and Nick Khan or Shawn Michaels, whoever the hell, people think that they'll look at a wrestler and be like, is this guy good enough for Raw and SmackDown, or is he not good enough? In which case he would go to NXT. That is not what the case is. It hasn't been the case in like a decade. Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, Kenta, Pac, Sami Zayn, Cesaro, LA Knight, Charlotte, Sasha, like I could go on and name you people that started in NXT, even though they were quote unquote good enough, but NXT needed the star power at the time. NXT is a TV show. WWE is a multifaceted company. It's a system of different things. It's not just individual things that exist in vacuums. There is a roster, the entire roster of WWE. Let's just say all the brands and people in the PC and the main roster. Let's put them all in one group. Raw and SmackDown need a certain amount of talent and a certain diversification and selection of talent to fill out a TV show and to make a cohesive television product on a weekly basis. Penta comes in, you immediately know what this guy is. Between the aesthetic, obviously, the mask, the entrance, the walk, the unique presence he has just from visuals, but then he goes and wrestles and has the exciting elements of his offense too. Penta is a showcase wrestler. You throw him out there, he gets the crowd hot. You don't really need to do anything more with Penta. He just goes out there, he has good matches. That's pretty much the extent of it. Ricky Starks is a completely different wrestler than Penta. Ricky, yes, he's good in the ring, he's an athletic dude, but that's not where he shines. That's not why Ricky Starks is the star that he is today. It's not because of his in-ring, it's because of his out-of-ring. It's because of his charisma, his mic work, his promos, the way he presents himself. It's all unique, and it's not just something that you can just shoehorn into Raw on a 11-minute segment and get it over. Ricky Starks enters NXT, and he becomes the guy in NXT, because as of right now, the men's division in NXT is pretty fucking dire. You got Oba Femi, and then what? Stupid ass Fandango. You got Brian Pillman Jr. fucking slow motion super kicking people. You got Hank and Tank and Shank and Stank, and who gives a fuck? You add Ricky Starks to the equation, you have a brand new star that could create interesting storylines, better segments, better matches, etc., etc. All of a sudden, NXT is a better product because of Ricky Starks. Ricky wouldn't be there if they didn't have faith that he could bring in that appeal with what he brings to the ring. People say, oh, Ricky Starks is an NXT, and they must not think much of him. No, they think a lot of him clearly, because they clearly see him as somebody that will make people tune in to NXT. Again, there's so many variables, and it's not just NXT, not good enough. Raw, SmackDown, good enough. It's like it's a litmus test or like a roller coaster measuring deal. Are you this tall enough to be on SmackDown? That's not what this is. There's a level of nuance that unfortunately people on social media are unable of grasping. Ricky Starks is going to be the star of NXT. He's going to be presented and portrayed in a way that he is so many levels above everybody else on his brand. Then, in the future, he will go to the main roster, but you need to have a spot, which I'm getting ahead of myself because we're still confronting this dumb little interaction here. So why did Penta go to the main roster, but Ricky didn't? Just explain that. My response is basically what I said. NXT is a television show, just like Raw and SmackDown. Talking about how there's other variables. It's not just, is this guy good enough to be on this show? It's just, where does he fit in? Where does everybody fit in, given their strengths? Who can they work with? Where the WrestleMania build's going on, like if you throw Ricky Starks in there in mid-February, like that's gonna throw all monkey wrenches in all of their plans that they have, and we don't want to just rush him into there and at the expense of somebody else. And also, yes, reading this, one more thing, developmental, okay? NXT, yes, by nature, is a developmental brand. However, you can't develop without people that are already developed, aka Ricky Starks. If you just have Hank and Tank face each other every week, nobody's gonna grow. If you just have blonde gymnast with the garter straps number 78 face blonde gymnast with the garter straps number 62 every week, they're not gonna grow. They need the Natalias, they need the Baileys to come down, they need the Ricky Starkses, the Ethan Pages. This is not a new concept. We've had Dolph Ziggler come down. You have guys like Ciampa and Aleister Black and Adam Cole who have been well established in the wrestling world. And it's not due to a lack of skill, but they go into NXT to, one, introduce the audience to their character for people who have not seen them, but also to help build up other stars while at the same time creating an engaging television show with these big stars, giving you people that make you tune into NXT to see them, aka Ricky Starks. So I say all that, and then he ignores pretty much all of it. He says that if WWE was truly excited about you, they aren't putting you on NXT, which is just a weird, dumb statement to make. If they weren't excited about you, they wouldn't fucking hire you? I mean, what are we doing? Far less people watch NXT, and a lot of people and a lot of WWE fans don't watch it, which haven't they been like in the 800,000s recently? Far less people watch it. It's a lie. It's a lie. It is basically about learning their system and seeing how he fits in. I believe he should be on the main roster. Like, if you think he should be on the main roster, that's one thing. But to claim that you know why he's in NXT when you clearly don't understand what NXT is a different animal. He says, I don't really care about the ratings, which, let's backtrack. I don't care about the ratings. Let's see here. Far less people watch NXT, and a lot of WWE fans don't watch it. Seems like you brought it up, buddy. Please spare me with the outdate. All right, enough. So contradicts himself there. We move on. I tell him this, that he brought it up, and then he pretends that didn't happen, just ignores it. I'm not the one you want to go toe-to-toe with. Okay, buddy. Fucking Doug. Right, yeah, I don't want to go toe-to-toe with you. It's a waste of Ricky's time since the WWE audience don't really watch NXT. He's a 34-year-old with a bad neck, which are we pretending 34 is old now, I guess? I don't know. You either believe in him or you don't. They have done nothing to suggest that they don't believe in him. I've already confronted all of this. I've told him why he's wrong. I probably respond to this, right? Yeah, basically copy and paste my previous retort because he never responded to any of it. So I was like, let me copy paste this and see if he does. And then he responds, also still ignoring it, still ignoring everything I said. He says, you devalue Ricky, if that is even his name anymore. You're taking a ton of shine and momentum putting him in NXT. I assume he means taking away the shine and momentum. First of all, momentum? This dude hasn't been on TV in months. What momentum are you... Jesus, tits, man. He's starting at a dead stop no matter where he goes. So there's no momentum to capitalize on. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Maybe find a dictionary. There, Doug. I think this deserves the old mute. All right, let's move on to other people. 34-year-old Ricky Starks at Developmental talking about he is the future. What? How does any of this contradict the fact that he could be the future? 34. He has at least a decade in him if he wants. And this dude isn't just doing fucking roll drills in the PC in the warehouse. He's on a television show that gets near 1 million viewers every fucking week. That is filling arenas for their takeovers. People are acting like he's just doing battle rope drills in the dark. Like, no, he's on a TV show. Oh, this fucking guy. Dav. Now, full transparency, I already muted this guy, but I saw somebody retweet him. So let's see what he has to say about Ricky Starks. So WWE sees Ricky Starks and basically thinks he's on Ethan Page and Brian Pillman Jr. level. Compare his debut to Penta, getting what he has on the main roster. It doesn't bode well, but I hope he flourishes and is a happy man. Now everyone can move on. Okay, so this is a relatively level-headed approach. But again, compare his debut to Penta and what he's been getting on the main roster. We've already talked about this, how it's not apples and apples, it's apples and onions. Ricky Starks, Penta, very different wrestlers. They came in at different times also. There's only so many slots on the main roster. Where does Ricky Starks fit in on the main roster? Genuinely. People that want him to be on the main roster, where does he fit in? Where do we ham jam this guy in? Do we make something a triple threat? They seem to be teasing Penta and Braun. Do we just make that a triple threat just because we can? Or do we take our time, cultivate Ricky Starks, build his resume, build his connection with the WWE audience in NXT, and then debut him post WrestleMania when there's a slot open for him to fit in and to truly shine and show what he's capable of, both in the ring and on the mic and as a character? Or do we just jam him in and throw him in the a six-way ladder match for the US title? Yeah, that's how we use Ricky Starks. Just empty-headed dumb fucks everywhere you look. All right, let me confirm that he's still muted. Yep, muted, so we're good. We're good. Yes, please let Ricky Starks be gone. I'm tired of hearing about him. Go carry Cody's bag over there. Right, yeah, you don't care. Clearly, you're not upset. I don't even care. Who is Ricky Starks? Any other keywords you'd like to hear me respond to on X? Feel free to add them to the comments. This will be a pretty regular thing. So if there's one thing that's guaranteed, it's death, taxes, and wrestling fans getting irrationally upset for no reason. So constant stream of content coming your way.